Oh, different call. Hello, sir.
Oh, there we are. Hello.
Hello.
Good name
you,
too.
you should have. For whatever reason, I guess you started a separate call.
You should have.
Oh, well.
For whatever reason, I guess you started.
Well,
If you could mute the live stream so
Yeah,
we don't echo.
there we go.
yes, that's done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter New.
Well, hello to you all.
Hello, sir, and how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on the live stream here.
Absolutely, very
being
glad to
here.
have you.
My pleasure.
All right, so for those of you who do not know who Mr. Peter New is, Mr. Peter New is the voice of Big Macintosh in My Little Pony. Well-loved character, by the way. Oh wow, my brain stops working. I am so sorry.
Let me just get into a quick question. What brought you into the fandom?
What brought me into the fandom was, just being in the show, and I was sort of amazed when I figured out that there was this huge following among adults. And I thought it was fascinating, and so of course I began investigating that, and I was even more impressed with it when I found out that it was very earnest and very much, well, really just earnest. That's the word for it. And I was really thrilled by that, because I thought it would be very easy to be an ironic fandom or a critical fandom, or to just corrupt it and make fun of it, and that isn't what's happening, and I think that is marvelous. So embrace that.
Follow-up question to that, by the way. Were you hesitant at all about actually involving yourself in the fandom?
Yeah, fair question. At first, when the assumption at first is that it is an ironic association, right? Because here's the show for girls, little girls, and the adults liking it. You assume that, oh well, there's something weird going on. But now that it's now that I found out that it's a nice, earnest fandom, it's like, well, yeah, there's nothing to resist. There's no friction there, as far as I'm concerned, because I think the values of the fandom are really positive and forward-thinking.
All right.
I would like to add that Romel is not on the call.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, am I not in the call?
No, he said.
Oh,
I think he said now in the call.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Well,
I'm sorry.
What are some of the highlights or challenges with working with the people over at the Hub and working on the show in general?
I don't find any particular challenges working with them at all. Everything that we do as actors is pretty well regulated, and you go to your audition and you get cast, and then you are asked to show up at a certain time to perform a service, and it's sort of the anti-glamour, but so everything kind of has to happen as along with the contracts that we have set up and have in place, and so there's no real resistance as far as working with them. And the highlights of working with them, of course, is just that I get to go and do this awesome thing for a living, which you got to be grateful for. So, I have to thank them for that.
Another question, by the way, and I was actually requested by somebody to bring this to light. You shaved your head recently?
When I started losing my hair in my 20s, it started to go out fairly slowly, and I thought I can either spend a decade, worrying about it, or I can shave it. So I shaved it when I was about 24, and thought, okay, that's what it's going to look like. And then I let it all grow back in, and I, played with it until it really fell out. And when I was in my mid-30s, it really just went. In my sort of mid-late 30s, it just disappeared. And I thought, well, I think it looks better to have it fairly close to the pate than I think it looks like you're holding on to scraps if you don't do that. That's just my opinion there. But so I wasn't that worried about the shave my head challenge. because I do it regularly.
Also, really odd follow-up question. Has anyone offered to wax your head before?
No. Are you offering?
Potentially, but that's a matter for another time. Okay, so
Watch yourself around Mike, new.
I will polish that to a mere sheen.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so go ahead, Bren, Rommel. Would you
Someone
like
will say,
Go ahead.
I just saw, before we go on, someone says, I got long hair. I shall donate if you say yup. So, yup.
Wow.
Donate.
Okay. Right there.
Awesome.
You just made almost 1,300 people very, very happy. Wow.
Well, that's what I'm here to do.
All right.
I kind of wanted to go off on a question on my own. I might be thinking of going in voice acting as a career. Do you have any tips or tricks I could use
Sure.
in maybe going in that?
Well, first of all, are you an actor?
I can act, yes.
Yeah. Do you do it at all? Have you had any experience in general, or are you just something you can do?
I am able to do it, but I'm currently in high school right now, so I have not have the opportunity to.
Well, you know, my advice to you then is to keep that going. Keep acting. Get involved in the theater department at your school if you have one there. Otherwise, try and find a way to get yourself on stages in front of audiences, or make videos and YouTube them, and get yourself acting, because voice acting is mostly acting and a little bit voice. I got into voice acting mostly because I thought I was too hideous to do on-camera acting, which my agent first got disagreed with and decided that I should get headshots. And in fact, I worked on camera for most of a decade with barely any voice work before the voice work really took over in the last few years. Okay. So it's been a good years mostly of on camera, and then a little bit of voice at the end so far. And you keep honing your voice, keep finding different accents, different voices, finding different. Do you know about voice placement?
I am not aware of the subject.
All right. You can move your voice sort of up and down your body, and that's a good thing for any aspiring voice actor to learn how to do. If your regular voice, like my regular voice that I'm using right now, is, you know, it's mostly in my throat. It sort of lives in there. But if I push it down into my chest, open up my chest cavity, then you get this kind of more heroic sounding voice, you know, and that just happens by just moving the voice around.
So,
or if you push it further forward in the mouth, you get this kind of voice. It comes out of the mouth, right? And then you get to listen to different, like if you have here in the front of the mouth, my temptation is to put a little lisp on it and make it a little more geeky or something like that, you know. And that kind of, just by moving the voice and pushing it into different parts of your body, and you can, you know, throat and nose and mouth and top of the head, and, you know, you're gonna go right up into the top there if you want to. And,
so
just by pushing the voice, and that's not even thinking in terms of character or anything. That's just moving the voice.
So basically, question. So, I don't know. So I guess by that same property, so like when I do something like, so like what you're saying is basically you can bring it down to this type of a decibel and bring out an entirely new voice, one that sounds refined or different perhaps.
And then you can bring it up here so that you sound like iconic Disney characters.
Sure, yeah, that's good. Yeah, you know, I mean, I find that character kind of comes out of what your voice can already do, as opposed to trying to say, well, let's make, you know, I'm going to try to imitate, you know, Homer Simpson or something. You know, I'm terrible at actually saying, well, let me imitate another character, because I know a lot of my people that I work with are very good at that, but I'm a lot better at just saying, well, my voice is what it is, and I can shift it just a little here or there, and then that kind of makes it different, as opposed to trying to make it entirely different from what my voice actually is, which is what I sort of started out with. I think a lot of voice actors begin with that idea that I'm gonna try to make my voice, hide my own voice, and do something completely different with my voice. But the fact of the matter is, you're really not. You're just shifting it ever so slightly here or there.
I guess.
Man.
Do Fluttershy.
You rock.
Actually, I have a question pertaining to fan-created content. Are there any particular pieces, preferably those involving your character Big Mac, that you've seen in the fandom that you've taken a liking to?
Just in terms of any art or music? Or
art, music, animations, whatever you want.
I'm so excited by the fan-generated stuff as a conglomerate. It amazes me that I can go online every day or two and there is some other new image, other new song, it's endless how much stuff is out there. And I'm just thinking in terms of, as relates to Big Mac, let alone as relates to the main six or any of the other characters. And it's so deep. I don't know how you choose. I love so much of it, and so much of it is surprising. I'm just amazed when I can come across something that I would never have thought would get made, and there it is. As somebody told me once, fairly early in my experience with the fandom, that if there is a thing you can think of, someone has made a pony of it, and that I think I was like, haha, yeah, right. But you know what? Yeah, that's probably true. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how to pick a favorite. Ultimately, there's just so much crazy good stuff out there, and I love that this show has inspired that. Anytime art makes more art, I feel like that's a win.
People are asking, have you read any of the fanfics by chance? Or do you tend to distance yourself from that?
I have generally distanced myself from the fanfics. I did try reading one or two fairly early on, but they were not to my taste. That's, I think, because I was reading the wrong kind of fanfic.
Gosh.
Oh, I think we all know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess getting back on track then, what are some of your current or future projects that you're able to share with us, if any?
The only one that I know of that I can absolutely share is I just immediately prior to BronyCon, I recorded a feature-length animated movie called Gula City, which I just recently found out apparently was for the Jim Henson people, which I didn't know when I was recording it. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know when it's going to come out. Mm-hmm. It was super fun. It was like an old Bing Crosby, Bob Hope road movie.
Oh, nice.
And I got to play the Bob Hope character, although by the time we get into the studio, I don't know that it entirely sounds like Bob Hope anymore. But it was really good fun to do. So I hope that turns out great. Beyond that, there's other things that I'm working on that I am definitely not allowed to talk about. And then I'm shooting right after I get back from Everfree in August. I'm shooting a few days on a mini-series. I don't know if I can talk about that or not, so I can say mini-series.
Okay.
So I actually had a quick question, if you don't mind me asking. So since you are going to be going to Everfree, and you went to BronyCon, correct?
I did.
Right. I was wondering, how did that whole convention experience go for you? When you were there with all the Brony fans and all the BAs and the rest of the crew and everything. How was that experience for you? Could you elaborate on that?
It was astonishing. BronyCon was my first experience at a convention, and so I think I'm spoiled because it was so much fun, and everybody was respectful and it's impossible to describe, really. I mean, if you've never been to a thing like that, you're in a room with 4,000 people who are all in love with Pony, and it is elating. I had a grin on my face the whole time. It started the moment I crossed the street from the hotel, and I walked into the place with Lee Tokar and Tara Strong, and there were lineups of people sitting on the stairs and lining up for stuff, and everybody stood up and started applauding. I think mostly for Tara, but you know, I decided it was for us too. But
share the glory.
From there and onward, I mean, I just never stopped smiling. It was so much fun. Does that answer your question? I don't know how to, I don't know how. I mean, it's a thing which is really impossible to talk about. It was incredible.
Okay.
Just fun to know.
Go ahead, Rom.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just want to say it's fun to know what different people's experiences of the convention are. You get like one account from an artist in the community, you get an account from just an everyday person who went to that convention, or you even get an account from yourself. And it's really interesting to hear those different perspectives.
Well, what are the other perspectives? Because I only have my own. I haven't really heard anything else.
No, they vary.
They vary.
Well, you know, it happens with every convention. You have some people who enjoy it, some people who have a negative experience, a major negative experience, minor. It happens. But I mean, for the most part, from what I saw personally, most everybody I talked to absolutely had a blast at BronyCon. So.
Somebody, I had a great time. Somebody here has just asked on the live stream, I heard some stories of a plushie you got from Egophiliac. Did you really go and attack Megan McCarthy? I don't remember ever attacking Megan. I'm going to have to. Megan and I got...
Okay, a bit more of a serious question, well, borderline serious. Where do you see the fandom as a whole going from here on in? Like, do you see it lasting like over the next 2 or 3 years, or do you see it going for maybe writing out another year or two before gradually kind of slowly dying? What do you think?
Well, I mean, as far as relates to Pony, I mean, I feel like the fandom will continue as long as the show continues, and I don't, you know, that is not that's a thing that's not up to me, so I don't really have a prediction about that. But my hope for it is that it transcends the show, and because someone here is just Daddy Discord has just said in all caps, so I saw it. The love and tolerance will never die, and that's exactly what I'm going for. Is that I feel like there's a thing happening, which is people are sort of coming out of a shell of some kind and saying, you know what, it is a good idea, actually, to pay attention to the feelings of other people and to help other people and to accept other people. And I think that it's an idea that transcends a TV show. Mm-hmm. And so my hope is that once Pony inevitably ends, that the Brony manifesto, for lack of a better word,
the Brony agenda, according to Stuart.
I hope it makes it all the way. I just hope that I hope that this sense of wanting to be one people over a bunch of different peoples who have to argue. I mean, I really have had that idea in my heart for years that we are not a bunch of different things. We are one thing as a people, and we need to tolerate one another because we are on such a small little ball of fluff floating around in this giant space. Every single thing happens here, and it makes no sense to fight over it.
Okay, I
100% agree with you, sir.
I just flipped past a question in the live stream chat that I actually want to ask. How much Big Mac memorabilia do you own, and how much of it did you receive at BronyCon?
All of the Big Mac memorabilia that I own, I received at BronyCon. But that being said, I'm very happy to have it. I have a, oh boy, I have a magnet. I have several pins. I have a little statue of Big Mac, which is fantastic. I have a cardboard duct tape Big Mac, which is about 3 feet tall. I have prints and you know, paper crafts and awesome stuff.
Oh, okay. This is a terrible joke, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Do you use a Mac or a PC?
I just was looking at that question, and what do you think?
Oh god.
What do you eat when you go to McDonald's?
I tend not to, but I you know, I wouldn't actually eat a Big Mac. It would feel like cannibalism.
I love how this interview has now turned into bad puns for Mr. Oh, I actually have a question for you. What was your reaction when you found that your character, who has such not quite a minor presence, but definitely a minor speaking presence in the show, had amassed such a following? I mean, what was your reaction to that?
Well, it was surprising, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, right? I mean, if you want to talk in terms of, I mean, this is the most famous, again, for a better term, that I have ever been, and I've been asked before, you know, what's it like to be famous for basically for 2 words, but you know what? It's the same as being famous for more than 2 words, because I don't know the difference. You know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Totally. No.
It does. To me, anyway.
Rommel, Bren,
I mean, it's astonishing. It's an astonishing thing. The whole phenomenon. So it's just a delight to be a part of it.
Rom and Bren, I know I've been kind of dominating. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask?
I pretty much got my main one out there.
Rom, you're a little bit quiet, actually. Yeah, your mic's a little bit on the quiet side.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. What were your experience working with the Studio B staff?
What's my experience working with them is that I think they are charming, professional. It's lovely.
Okay, and Rom, you said you had a question?
Yes. So, I know that you have like participated a bit in the fandom of it, you know, obviously being here and talking to different people and, you know, checking out art and what have you that the Bronies have produced. But have you seen any of the VA work that the community has done? Like any of the voice acting work that the community has done?
Sorry, have I heard any of the voice acting work that the community has done? Is that the question?
Yes. Yeah.
I've heard a little bit here or there, but not really enough to have a
concrete opinion on.
Yeah. I should listen to more, and then I can answer that.
Well, yeah, I would just recommend if you there's one show, Friendship with Witchcraft. We actually interviewed. We were supposed to interview somebody from that today, Jenny Nicholson, who produces it, but she wasn't able to attend. But I would recommend checking that out. It's a really, really funny parody series.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Do you have anything you want to say, Mike?
I'm thinking for the most part.
Thinking.
My brain has ceased functioning.
Let's all think for a moment.
Oh no, brain, no, why are you doing this? This is a pivotal moment, no.
Don't screw up in front of Mr. New.
No, my life is over.
Your actions are being judged in front of 1,307 viewers as you continuously
Lightning Runner has it right. Mike the Microphone.exe has stopped working.
Well, I see a question here I can answer. Somebody has asked, Way O Rules has asked, Peter, have you ever met a brony who lives in another country? Yes, I have. Partly because, of course, I'm in Canada. So I've met a lot of bronies that live in another country, if you look at it from that perspective, because I've met mostly American bronies. However, I've also met Canadian bronies, because I've met some here in Vancouver. And And while I was at BronyCon, of course, I met some guys from Belgium and some people from France. So yeah, don't know if I met any Aussies. Someone asked, but I know they exist.
I know they were supposed
They're
to.
not a myth.
There were a few. I recall there were a few Australian people in attendance at BronyCon. I know the better majority of them, however, will be attending Everfree, if I recall correctly.
Well, then we'll all have to put shrimps on the Barbies, as it were.
Oh.
Everybody hates Paul Hogan. I know.
Oh, that's...
Someone refuses to believe that Canadians exist. Well, all right.
I'm sorry, America, but Canada's the best country in the whole world.
This interview is over. I exist.
On that note,
So,
international bronies, actually, if you mind me asking, are you going to be attending Galacon in Germany?
When I haven't been invited to it, so I don't think so. But I would be happily, I would go to it. I mean, I would go to basically any of them. I had such a ball at BronyCon that I'm thrilled about it.
Actually,
on that note, then, if there are any Galacon organizers out there.
Sorry, I missed that.
No, I was just saying, like on that note, it's just saying, if there are any Galacon organizers out there,
oh
get
yes,
this guy.
I actually have a bit of a personal question. I know somebody linked you to a rap battle featuring Big Macintosh and Blue Blood. I wanted to know what your opinion on the Big Mac voice actor was.
I thought it was great fun. I mean, I thought he did a great job.
Okay.
So I think that pretty much wraps things up. One final question. Do you have any final thoughts or so I would say or reflections?
Reflection
Yeah, reflections.
on the fandom at all, or any what's
Or
happened
on anything. Take this time to say anything you want.
Nope.
Oh, fine then. Be that way.
No, I just,
Oh, I'm sorry. My friend Hoodaloo. Hoodaloo asked, was voice acting something you wanted to go into as a career initially, or was it something that you decided later on? Like, did you decide as a kid, I want to do voice acting, or was it just something that you developed into later on?
I decided I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid, and when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I started a sketch comedy troupe, and we performed around town here in Vancouver, and did reasonably well for a sketch comedy troupe performing in comedy basements in a city where people don't expect there to be a sketch comedy troupe. So, and I sort of felt like I was going to get discovered doing that, and then that was a bit silly of me. But once that all fell apart, I realized I actually should probably get an agent and pursue all that. And then, as I said earlier, I legitimately felt like I was too hideous to be on camera. I thought I would look awful on camera, and so I focused on getting a voice tape done, because after having done several years of sketch comedy, I realized I had a range in my voice. And so I got an agent who represented voices particularly, and she immediately told me to get headshots because she felt like I had a really good character look for film, and she started pushing me for voice, but it was film that I started booking. So there you go. I ended up doing what I wanted anyway in the end. But voice, voice is such great fun. And the thing is, and this speaks to something I was talking about earlier too, which is that acting is really the focal word. It's the operative word in voice acting. And you need to consider that acting, whether it's on a stage or on camera or in front of a microphone, that acting is acting, and you're just using different tools depending on the venue.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and so no final thoughts or reflections?
I was teasing with my nope. But I said, yep, already. So I thought, well, maybe I should have said maybe. But
Can we get that as a voice clip now so the fandom can have a ball with that one within different Mac?
all right, should we do it? Is everybody ready? We'll,
By all means,
Everybody
ladies and
mute their mics.
everybody, ready your recording devices now.
I'll try to give you one.
Okay.
I'm just stalling for another second, so people are just, I can imagine people scrambling at their desks for.
Well, you have 1,300 people all scrambling and
comes.
freaking out. Go.
Baby. There we go.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Indifferent Mac.
All
right.
What's that? Sorry.
Nothing. Just saying indifferent Mac.
Indifferent Mac.
Yep. Well, the chat is certainly in love with you right now.
Well, I'm in love with the chat. I mean, you kidding? I mean, you guys are amazing, guys, and all you lovely people.
Chat is the best chat in the world.
This chat is the best chat in the world, and
You-
that's thanks to all of you people currently chatting and donating.
There you have it. Actually,
all your money.
Mr. New, if you would be so kind, Mr. New, as to one more time, go ahead and let everybody know what we're doing here today in terms of the raffle and what the donations are going toward.
Well, I know that it's related to the Bronies for Good, and that it's all going to a very good place. But off the top of my head, I'm not the person who's best suited to put that into words. Someone has put a link here. betterplace.org/n/group/seeds of kindness.
Yeah, mic feedback would be me.
That's where you should look.
Yeah.
I also heard you went to your announced to Canterlot Gardens with is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm very excited about that too.
All right. Well, Mr. New,
Here's gonna be a ball.
Mr. New, we want to thank you profusely for joining us today. It was very nice having you.
It was a real pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all of you for coming and listening and typing and everything. It's been a real pleasure.
Oh, okay. Apparently, according to the chat, your voice glitched when you said maybe.
It did?
Yeah, apparently your voice glitched.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess that's just that, isn't it?
I guess.
Mr. Troll New.
Can we do it again?
It's up to you.
Is magic?
I don't know.
Will it be maybe is magic?
Well, it's entirely up to you, sir.
It's entirely up to me. Okay, everybody quiet. Everybody quiet. Is it glitching?
Nope.
No.
Good.
No? Maybe. Got it?
Perfect.
You probably made some less.
Perfect.
Perfect.
1,300 people's day right
Yep.
there.
Got it. Perfection. There you go.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. Well,
There it is. Clear as glass. All right, then. And with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you all so much. And I can't wait to see some of you at Everfree and some others of you at Canterlot and at other times. It will be an honor to meet each and every one of you.
all right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good day, sir.
And you. Bye-bye.
Bye.